Hey y'all, what's up? What's up? Jamie, that's me here. Welcome back to my for you guys. Today I'm gonna go ahead and do some lives for you guys from a few TV shows, polls, as well as couples retreat. I did not feel like recording any of these, so I decided to just hop on the live and run through these reviews real quick. So hopefully you guys enjoy them all the same as you have before. So I'm gonna go ahead and start off with polls. This episode appeared to be more about Elektra and what was going on with Elektra. We got to do a few flashbacks of her life, getting her to the point of where she is today, and then they were bouncing back and forth between current day as well as previously. So I believe the first one, they went all the way back to 1978. And with this, we can see that Elektra was like a streetwalker, out there. That's how she found her good men and stuff. And how she made her coins. And that's how she met quite a few of the ladies. So she was getting ready to head home after getting some money off of one of her good Johns. And unfortunately, the girl that she was with ended up losing her keys and must have lost her keys in somebody's car. Elektra is panicking at this point because she's like, girl, I can't go home like this. You know what I'm saying? I can't go home because my mama's going to look at me like this. And you don't know Tasha Johnson like that. You don't know this lady. So I need to be able to go back to my manly state, But unfortunately, that didn't happen. So it forced her to have to actually go home in the attire that she didn't want her mama to see her in. So as she tried to sneak into the house, of course, who's waiting on her? Okay, Miss Tasha waiting on her, ready to grill her. And that's exactly what she did. She started to go in about her and says that she didn't want, what did she say? She didn't want a cross-dressing homosexual in her house is what she said. Okay, so they got into a spick and spat. We see Elektra run upstairs and she started to grab her trunk, because that's what this episode was about as well. That trunk, I knew that trunk was going to come back at some point. I just didn't know how long it was going to take for that trunk to come back and be a part of the conversation. So she's in that trunk and she wants to take it with her, but unfortunately the mama's like, no, you can't take it with you. She's like, why? Because all of this stuff in here belongs to me, and she wanted to go ahead and leave because her mama then yanked her clothes off of her, snatched the wig off of her, okay, telling her she needed to take that shit off and be who it is that she gave birth to, be the son that she wants her to be. So that's when she goes upstairs and she's packing her stuff or whatever. She wants to leave, and the mama is like, absolutely not. Hey, renting with Ricardo. Hey, honey, Miss Tasha Jackson is real hurtful. Exactly. That's exactly how I felt. The way she was talking to Elektra, I was like, I want to square up with you right now, honey. I want to really square up with you right now because I just felt like that was rude. It's been tough to see these last two episodes where it's the mamas out here not having any understanding or any care or showing any compassion or anything towards their children. I understand the time that they came up in, but I'm like, dang, y'all mamas was out here ruthless. I really expected the daddies to be towed down, but it's the mamas for me. Okay, so yeah, that's what was going on. She wanted to take her stuff, and her mom was like, baby, you can leave. You can go where you want to go. But as far as these items in this trunk and everything, that's going to stay here with me. Okay, so Elektra had to leave with what she had. And she was like, girl, like it or not, this is who I am. And it's going to be what it's going to be. I'm going to go ahead and live my life. And you'll see me at another time. So that's what she ended up doing. So she left her mama house. And I don't blame her. Bye, B.I.T. You think you lonely now? Wait until tonight, honey, because I'm not going to be here. Hey, Angie. Yeah, I'm not gonna be here. I'm gonna go ahead and skip out. So that's what she did. And left her mama there, and that's what she gets. So later on, we can see that Elektra is in her office. So I wasn't sure. I was like, okay, is this present day or is this still old? Which one is it? So it looked like, of course, it was present day. We see her listening to her voicemails and stuff. She had a call from Lulu and somebody else. So it looks like she's running this whole sex talk, phone talk, or whatever type of situation when the police barges in on her and they want to have a talk. They're trying to figure out, girl, we got to talk about some things. We need to bring you down to the station. She's kind of confused because she's like, but I'm running a legit business. I have my permits and everything. And they're like, no, that's not what this is. Come to the station with us. That's what she does. She goes down to the station. They bring up Rudy Giuliani and talks about how he's the mayor. And at this time, he's trying to crack down on, I guess, this particular mafia or this mob, and she may know more information considering the fact that they know she walks the streets or whatever. So they figuring that, you know, is there anything that you can tell us? Okay, because if not, we're gonna have to check your bank accounts to see where your money coming from, honey. We need to see what's going on so that we can try and give some information to the mayor so he can crack down on the situation. Electra made sure to wrap that head and put on her good lipstick. Do you hear me? She did before she pranced right on out of there. She did. I said, you better wrap it tight. She running a 1800 Mr. Nasty time phone line, and is okay, and that's what Blanca was telling her. Blanca was like, you know, when they bust up the last thing she had, she was like, I'm sure you're gonna be good at figuring out your next come up. So figure it out, and she figured it out very quick. I'm like, she got an office now. Who did that? How she do that? She went and got an office and everything. So one thing about Electra knows how to go out and get some money. Okay, well, her skinny self, I was like, you so tiny. Look at her. Okay, she know how to go out there and get a coin, and that's what she did. Okay, so when she's sitting there, you know, she tells them that she needs to talk to her attorney or whatever, and she goes and she ends up calling Blanca. She tells Blanca, girl, I am scared. Okay, these people is on my please hear me, okay? I got this trunk at the house. I don't know what they finna do next. Listen, I only can afford one attorney, okay? I got some money somewhere at the house. I just need you to go and get this trunk. And Blanca, knowing what's in the trunk, because remember, she had a client, and I believe he overdosed on something, and that's when she put him in the trunk and kept him hidden. So, that's that. Blanca knows what's in that trunk, so she really don't want to have nothing to do with it. She really like, I don't want to have anything to do with it. Like, leave me out of it. But of course, Electra begs her to be a part of it, and she decides to go ahead and do it for her. So she gets Ricky and Poppy to go over there with her, and they about to help her. But then I believe one of the handles broke, and Poppy was like, "This thing heavy as hell. Like, what the hell she got in there?" Okay, and that's when she ended up. She tried to like. I don't want to say blackmail, but kind of tried to blackmail with some of the things that she was saying, and then trying to guilt them into doing it for her. But then she ended up opening up and just telling them like the truth, what's going on and what happened, and that they need to help her. So that's exactly what they did. They decided to go ahead and help her out and go and get that little trunk right on back to the house. And I'm just like, girl, you don't put this trunk in your house and you wouldn't think about the smell or nothing. You just like, yeah, I'm gonna help you out, girl. Let me go and hide it in my house so it can funk up my house and my neighbors be smelling everything that's going on. Okay. Well, I was like, y'all really didn't think that through, huh? Her client snorted a bunch of coke and she tied him up and put a gas mask on him and he OD'd. That's right. That is what happened. Child. Yeah, so then they flash back as they got the trunk where it needs to be. Blanca kind of flashed back to times when they ended up getting that trunk. So she flashed back to a time when it was Blanca, Lulu, Candy. They was all at the house. They needed to eat. They ain't have nothing at the house. Blanca was like, girl, I'll go out to the piers. I'll get out there on the streets, okay, if you need me to. And she was like, no, I'm the mama. This is what Electra is saying. I'm the mama. I'll go out there and do it for y'all. Because she also didn't really trust Lulu and Candy to really get out there and do what they need to do. So she relied on Blanca most of the time, but this time she said she'll do it. When she went off to do that, that's when she ended up meeting Angel, Chubby, and Lamar. So once she met them, she decided to go ahead and have them go stay with her. So she ended up taking them in as her kids, and she went on to make some more money. So that's what she did. She made the money. She brought it back to the house, and all of the kids ate and everything. Now, while they were sitting down eating and chatting it up and stuff, that's when the power and stuff went out. So once the power and things went out, she ain't have no place to go for real but to her mama house to try and get up on some money, get some of her valuables and stuff. So that's what she did. She went to her mama house, and it was so confusing. And I'm like, how you gonna be trying to sneak in your mama house, but you over here using a hammer and everything? Y'all, I'm like, y'all supposed to be quiet when y'all sneaking in this lady house. Y'all using a hammer, the damn air conditioner that fell out. And I'm like, y'all really think the mama don't hear this? And we see the mama in the room sleep. And I'm like, ma'am, how do you not hear this? Okay. So everybody was able to, well, not everybody, Blanca and Electra were able to go ahead and sneak in. They were able to get into the house. She shows Blanca what's in the trunk. She said it's all the valuables she has. She worked really hard for it. She wants her to help her get the stuff out. Now, Blanca also had a good stash of money over there too. So as she's trying to get everything moved out of the house, her mom ends up catching them, and she's like, I forgot what name she called her by. I think she said Elaine or something like that. I don't know. And so Electra was like, well, girl, just go back to sleep. Okay, I'm just trying to get the rest of my stuff, honey. You ain't even got to be out here. Just go ahead and go back to where you came from. And the mama said, well, you don't look like the person that stuff belongs to, so I'm going to go ahead and call the police on you. And she was like, well, honey, you can call the police all you want to. And if you do, I'm going to make a motherfucking scene, okay? When they come out here and they make a scene, I'm going to make a scene right along with them. And everybody going to know who I am. So you make the decision on what it is that you want. Oh, that's what it was. It was Dwayne. Okay. You make a decision on what it is that you want. Okay. You let me know. And that's when they ended up having, you know, a debate, a disagreement and all this stuff. And long story short, Electra was like, girl, I'm out. I'm finna get my, and I'm finna go. Like, I mean, it's going to be what it's going to be. I'm going to leave you here at this house. You don't accept me for who I am. So I'm going to go to where I am accepted, you know, and I ain't blame her for that, girl. Go ahead and get out of her house. Leave her right there in her house by herself so she can sit and think about it. Because she ain't have to do her child like that, okay? Pulling on that child and pulling their hair off and making them feel less than what they is. I'm like, girl, what is going on with you? Go get you a man or something. But anyway, so that all happened. She left. And then later on, we could see the flashback to where they go back to real time. YouTube is playing you for your notifications. I didn't get one and don't think a lot of people got one for this live. The algorithms may be tripping. I think that is the case for sure. Whenever I do like the polls reviews are like extremely low. For the most part, a lot of people aren't watching it, but it's interesting because I feel like that's across the board for a few people that do reviews on polls. As I've saw some people, I'm like, dang, okay, I thought it was just my channel, but it's like the lowest watched video on quite a few channels. So I don't know, girl. I don't know what Miss I forgot her name, Miss Janet Mockner went out there and did to make these people adjust the algorithms or something. Or if people just aren't that interested, I'm not really sure, because I see a lot of people talk about polls, but a lot of people aren't watching, you know what I'm saying, like the reviews or anything. So IDK, but either way, I'm glad that you guys are here. Okay, it don't have to be a whole lot of people. They'll come later. I'm glad that you guys are here. So thanks for coming. Okay, don't forget that Lamar and Angel are cousins. That's right. She did say that. She did say that they are cousins. And then I forgot exactly how they ended up meeting, how they ran into Chubby. And they kind of like look out. They kind of looked after Chubby. And that I really felt bad for Chubby because he passed away. And it's like, dang, imagine that. That's somebody you've been running with. They played a pivotal person in your life during a certain period. And then now here it is that person's not with you anymore. So I know that had to be like devastating. And then you have this virus that appeared to only be attacking people that were gay, and you over there dealing with that too, which is, I guess I understand why Teairra was going as crazy as he was going, even though he was getting on my nerves at times. That can do a lot to a person. It's like, dang, so many of my people are catching it. I remember the memories. I remember this. I remember that. But I'm losing these people. And then it's like, dang, am I going to get it? When is it going to be? Like, am I going to get it? What's going to happen to me? So, yeah, I know that could be like a lot of wear and tear. We saw more of how, what's his name? Teairra went through things, but we didn't really see how Angel and Lamar really went through things, considering the fact that they lost, you know, Chubby. Yeah, they met him on the streets. Thank you, Ranting with Ricardo. Thank you so much for hopping in here and giving me more for anything that I may forget. I appreciate that. So, yeah, so let's move forward a little bit to Chris and Blanca. I really like Chris. Y'all already know I think he's an amazing actor. I think he does a great job. It'd be so natural. Like, it just looks so real. He don't overact or anything. It's just like right. It's perfect. And I love that about him. So he goes to her house and he wants to, you know, just be there to support and help out. He knows what's going on with Electra, and he wants to like go with her to wherever she's gonna, you know, go to pick her up, and she's waiting for the people to call her and stuff. And he's like, okay, cool. She's like, no, I don't need your help or whatever. Like, we got it. And he was like, okay, cool. But what's that smell? And she was like, I mean, what you talking about? You know, that's just something over here that Damon, I think she said, oh, he left something behind or whatever. And he was like, nah, it's coming over here. It's coming out of here. Then he gets closer to the trunk and he sees that it's a foul odor coming from that trunk. And she tried to, like, you know, stop him because he wanted to help her clean it out. And he got upset with her a bit because he felt like every time I try to get close to you and help you and show you that I'm different or whatever, you push me away. So they got into an argument, and she feels as though he wouldn't understand or something like that. And he tells her that, well, I never ran away from you with anything else that you told me in the past. You know, when you told me you had HIV or whatever, what did I do? I didn't run away from you. I actually came closer to you. So in that moment, after hearing him plead his case, she decided to go ahead and open up and just let him know what was going on, which I was kind of shocked to see. But the way the show is set up, I kind of felt like, okay, he's going to help them out because he's a doctor. He's probably going to tell them everything that they need to do to make sure that this isn't traceable back to them. You know, so he was open. He heard it. You know, he heard her out. He understood what was going on. Shortly after that, they got the call about Elektra getting her bail, you know. And so I appreciated how he included himself and said, we all have to go and get Elektra out. And then after that, we all are going to go ahead and get rid of this trunk. And I said, look at Chris trying to be a part of the family. Girl, you better keep him, Mr. Blanca, honey. Keep that man. Keep him around, honey. I was like, okay, we see you. So they get her out, and Elektra feeling away. She like, first of all, I just called you. And Blanca was like, well, honey, how did you think I was going to get all this done anyway? Okay, you think I was going to lift that? No, I needed help, honey. Okay, she was like, well, what about Superman over there? Why is he here? She was like, because he's here to help. Okay, we needed help, so he's here to help, and everything is all good. So she was like, okay, fine. She really still felt the way, but she was okay with it. So they went to go and get rid of the body. And I thought they were going to actually bury the body like Blanca said, but that's not what they did. That's not what they did at all. They weren't, and then they threw it in the water, but I'm kind of like, y'all could have buried it, or y'all could have at least took it out of the trunk and threw it in the what you call it. He already fell out the damn trunk anyway when y'all had pulled it out the back of the car. So why y'all just gonna take them and dump them like that? Okay, I don't know, but that was the best decision for them, and I wouldn't be surprised if that came up at a later time this season. Hopefully not. Hopefully they're done with that. But I'm like, y'all could have just took that. You know, I ain't never killed nobody, so I don't get no suspicious IDK. But yes, I was just wondering about that. You know, they dispersed the body. She was kind of having second thoughts a little bit as far as Elektra, but they ended up, you know, throwing the body off. And then they went back to the house, and I think they was eating. And I was like, how the hell did y'all eat after y'all done got rid of a body? And you, sir, who was it? Was it Poppy? It was Poppy or Ricky. One of y'all just throwing the hell up. And I'm over here like, honey, how you eating now? I wouldn't have been able to eat, though. I'll be honest. I would have needed a day or two. They threw him in the sewage, and bacteria, it was going to eat away. Oh, yeah, that is what, what's his name? That is what Chris said right before they threw him over. He did kind of mention that. It looked like it was the water, though. So I guess it was connected. The sewage was connected to the water or whatever. But we gonna see, because if anybody got to come and clean that sewage out and they haven't done what they need to done as far as him, honey, it's probably gonna resurface. But hopefully it won't. Hopefully it won't resurface. What else happened? So at the dinner table, Chris ended up letting Blanca know that he has a friend that has a friend, and he ended up getting her charges dropped. And you would have thought she would have been happy, but Elektra wasn't happy at all. She was just like upset about it. And then she goes into the kitchen to talk to Blanca and tell her, like, girl, I'm not trying to be in debt to no man at all. The last person I was in debt to was my mama, and I'm not trying to do that. Like, girl, no, I don't want to have anything to do with that. And that's when Blanca told her, well, no, it's not him. I'm the one that really put in a lot of work. I wanted to do this favor for you because you've always looked out for me, so let me do this for you. Okay. And so she was appreciative of it after a while, I guess. And that's where they were. In addition to that, we find out that Blanca did get admitted into nursing school. So I was really happy for her for that. So that was good. They did another flashback at the end of the season, and not the season, but the episode. And it was just them, you know, Angel and them back when they were young. Elektra back when she was first, I guess, got her house and stuff, and how they competed in the ball, and they ended up winning. So yeah, that was pretty much everything that happened on Pose. I didn't want to go like detail by detail. Just wanted to, you know, run through a few things that took place on the show. But it was still a good episode. You know, I definitely enjoyed the episode, as I always do. So I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen next. I wonder how long they're going to keep Pray Tell off the show. Okay, because after his antics, I'm good for not seeing Pray Tell for another 2 episodes. So they don't have to bring him back for 2 episodes. So I wonder if he's going to be on next week's episode or not. And I also want to see what's going on with Miss Angel and whether or not she's still on these drugs and if she's really being seen by a doctor or whatever. She's still doing this outpatient care like she said she was going to get. Okay. So let's go ahead and move on to something else, which is couples retreat. Let's go ahead and get into that. So we learned, as we did last week, that Michael is not renegotiating the deal that he has with Rada. Okay, he said that he is still interested in his side chicks, and his side chicks are here to stay. And what I don't understand is why Rada is not choosing herself, just like I feel like Michael is kind of choosing himself and the things that he wants. Why is she not choosing herself? And of course, we find out later on in the episode why she continues to fight for this so much, because I was so confused. Okay. What's her name? Rada goes on to say that she wants Michael to realize what he has, because when she's gone, she's going to be gone. But I was like, before I found out the news, I was like, but you left and then you came back. Okay, so how can he really realize what he got till it's gone if you keep coming back? He's not going to realize that at all. Okay, so everybody is sitting around talking about their first dates or whatever, and we get a surprise at the table, which is Ray J and Prinky walking out hand in hand. She says that he finally apologized to her. And that was one thing she was waiting on. She said that was the first time that he's ever apologized to her. And I'm like, dang, well, that sucks. It took y'all to come all the way out here on this trip, get into it and everything, for him to finally give you a full apology. Whew, that's disrespectful, but I definitely appreciate the fact that she got the apology that she needed. So they're able to move forward, okay? Yandy comes out with this lady named Lakara, okay? Lakara came out. She's a minister as well as a medium. And I looked her up. She's somewhere here in the Atlanta area. She also has this nice crystal and sage store or whatever she got going on. But I didn't know she was local. But I was like, oh, okay, then. I'm like, who is this lady over here reading these people, their rights and what's going on with their life? Who is her? Okay, I ain't never seen this lady before, so I had to look her up. Okay, so we see that she is real deal, and she's out here in the Atlanta area. So when she sits down at the table, she tells everybody, listen, I don't read what spirits or something like that. I don't speak to the dead. That's not something that I do. You know what I'm saying? I can just tell you what I'm sensing. I write things down, what's coming to me. I tell you out my mouth what I'm experiencing or what energy is surrounding you. So she speaks on Rasheeda and Kirk, and she wants to know, she asked about like somebody's mom passing or something like that. She said, out of the guys, like, has somebody's mom passed, an older woman or something like that, or grandma, mother figure or whatever. And that's when Kirk was kind of like, he had an eyebrow raised when she said it. He was like, me, like my mom passed or whatever. She was like, okay. And then she started thinking of a baby, and she said that, did you guys have a miscarriage? And when she said that, y'all, like, I started to tear up when I started seeing them talk, because I see that Rasheeda is really connecting with this, and I really felt bad for her. You know what I'm saying? And she says that the baby is with your mom, and that right there really broke Rasheeda down, because they did suffer a miscarriage. I'm not sure how far along ago the miscarriage was, but a miscarriage definitely happened. And after hearing that news and the way she was able to pinpoint, and I was glad she pinpointed it though, even though I was a bit skeptical, because everybody else was feeling how I was feeling. They was like, I don't know this lady. Who is this lady? What is this about? I'm not sure. And then she came out there reading them their rights. And then it was like, okay, yeah, no, she for real. Okay. So I appreciated that. I almost got mad with Kirk, because I felt like, Kirk, honey, your wife crying. There should not even been a hesitation of you getting up from the table. As soon as she got up, you should have got up. Okay, she walks off. She needed a second. She started crying. He goes over there to her. He tries to console her the best way that he could. She apologizes for crying. And I wish he would have told her, like, don't apologize for crying. You know what I'm saying? Because when a woman has a miscarriage, I don't think it's ever a time when she really doesn't mourn over that loss. So I did not really like how he was comforting her, but I had to realize that he was doing it in the best way that he could. And then he went on to tell her that, I forgot what he called his mom, Mama Joe or something like that. He said something like, she got the baby, like, you know, so the baby's in good hands. And he was his voice was crackling too. And he was telling her to stop crying because he wanted to cry. He didn't want to cry. So he was like, stop crying. So I really felt bad for him. And I started to tear up myself seeing that. Ranting says, I'm sick of Kirk and that defined Adam's apple. Girl, a mess. Kirk and his Adam's apple. Hilarious. Okay, so let's move on to Princess and Ray J. We learned that Princess actually lost a child too, but she lost this child 10 years ago and she was about 8 weeks pregnant. And she said that it wasn't from Ray J, of course, because they weren't together 10 years ago. And I guess it wouldn't be Floyd Mayweather either, because I think that was more than 10 years ago, I guess, IDK. But, I mean, less than 10 years ago, that situation. But she said it was 10 years ago. It was with an ex, 8 weeks old. And the lady told her that that soul has come back, and the soul came back in her son. And Ray J was like, Ray J was not here for that. Ray J was like, oh, hell no. No, ma'am, Pam, jam. No, we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. And I couldn't be mad at Ray J for real. I was like, no, he's not saying he's doing too much. But I couldn't be mad at him because that was the second child was a son. And no man or probably person would really want to hear that the soul that you had with an ex is coming through into my child. Okay, but that could just be what it is, though. That could just be the real life of the situation. But he was not trying to hear that, and I was just so weak by it. So we see Mike and Rada down at the end of the table trying to make fun of this lady, you know, like she's a joke once again. And so what ended up happening, she gets up, she walks down to them and says, I want to speak to you guys separately. I don't know what led her to do that, but she went to go speak with them separately. And that's what happened. She sat down with them and she talked to them about their relationship and how a lot is going on and stuff like that. She said that she was able to connect. She said it's something about a baby or something. It's a baby or something going on. And they both were shocked because she pinpointed it. And Mike went ahead and admitted to the fact that Rada is indeed pregnant. And then he says that they haven't told anybody. Nobody else knew. So that's how they knew she was on some real stuff, because nobody else, they said they haven't said anything else about it. And she tells him that, because I believe, what's her name? Rada wanted to know, like, what does she see for the future or anything? And she was like, well, I see that this could be like a positive thing. This could like really be a good thing. I think that this baby, you know, you guys met when you were supposed to meet. This baby isn't, you know, by accident or whatever, like the baby's supposed to be here or whatever. And then she goes on to let him know that this baby can help take him to whatever next level is supposed to be. So I don't know if he's going to work harder because he has a child, because he's not going to want to have that relationship with his child that he had with his dad, which was no relationship, because the mom snatched him away. I think he also mentioned that he was excited, and this is something that he did want. He wants his child. So I don't think he's going to change his ways, because right after that, he started talking about side chicks and stuff like that. So I don't know if the baby's going to fully change his ways. I think that's what Rada is hoping for. And that's why we see she's willing to stick around and continue to try. I don't really see it going anywhere at all. But I mean, we'll just see. I mean, well, I ain't gonna say I don't see it going anywhere at all. I can see them probably having a good relationship. I just see that it's going to be time for him to weed out these side chicks. And if he doesn't do that, I see her going off on her own and being a single mom, as much as she does not want to be a single mom. You know, that could be the best thing for her, IDK. But yeah, I just hate how he's still on that mental level. But some people change. Once the baby is here live in person, they change. Especially once he sees that he has a family of his own. That might change, or it might not change. He may still feel the urge after a while to go out there and be with, you know, other women. So, and that's what drives people apart, especially when you have a relationship and you have a child and things are changing. Usually breakups really happen because the men feel like it's the woman's baby, and they still could just do what they want to do and hang out and all this other stuff. And she's like, dude, you don't understand. My body just went through a lot after 9 months. I done gave birth to this motherfucking child. I'm the one having to get up at night and feed the baby and all this other stuff. And you're not really changing any of your antics. So then the women end up outgrowing the man. They end up growing up and realizing that they want more. Now that they got somebody else looking up to them, and they don't want the same things. And so they end up breaking up. You know, things happen. So I could potentially see that same thing happening with Rada. I would hope not, but you know, we'll see. Let's move on to Raymond and AJ. I didn't really fully understand what the hell was going on between Raymond and AJ's conversation. All I know is she came in there talking to him about sex and intimacy with his girl, and it went from that conversation to him talking about how he feels chastised at times. And that was like the main issue. He tries to be the man at times in the relationship, but she's always bringing up what she's unsatisfied with, which makes him kind of like fall back. So as much as he wants to be the man, what I took from the conversation is she doesn't give him the room to actually do that. That's what I was capturing. So he's going to have to continue to work on that. I believe she gave him some advice of some things that he can do. So we'll see how they work out. And then Ray J and Kirk. Okay, we see them later on that night. You know, Ray J is catching him up on everything, telling him that things between he and Princess are going really, really good. And then Kirk thought that it would be such a great idea to ask him about the lingerie that he found in her purse. And I'm just laughing because I'm like, Ray J was lying. I don't believe that happened. Ray J said, oh, I should ask her that, huh? And then Kirk said, no, don't ask her that. I shouldn't even brought it up. Don't ask her that. Y'all on good terms. Don't ask that lady nothing about, you know, what was in her purse. Just leave it alone. Okay? Wait until y'all in a really, 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 really good place and then ask her. And I'm like, how does that make any sense? That's going to send them right back down the road that they was at. I think y'all have apologized. Y'all have moved on for whatever issues y'all had. Leave that SHI where it's at. And if it happens to resurface again, with you seeing that in her bag, then bring it up. But outside of that, leave that shit where it's at. Leave it where it's at. You ain't got to do all that, honey. That's just what I thought. But, you know, I thought it was hilarious to see Ray J up there entertaining the conversation, knowing the whole time. He knew he was lying, okay? Do you think he holds back on certain things because he spent his formative years in prison? I think that could be it. I think that's a possibility, but I also feel him when he said, and we're talking about Raymond, when Raymond was in prison, he came out in what he said, like 2003 or 2005 or something like that. Between that time and now, he has a daughter, and his daughter is 17. So I feel like he could be experienced enough. But I mentioned this in my last review about the show. Deelishis is an alpha female. I think that in the past she's dealt with alpha men. So because she's an alpha female, alpha man, I feel like they probably battle for a particular position. And she's always probably done the most, even with dealing with those alpha men. And so now that she has a man that's nowhere near that level and that's calm, she's still performing at this high level of being an alpha woman instead of really taking the time to understand her man and meeting him at his level of where he's at. You know, so those are my thoughts. I think prison could have played a role, but I feel like it's a lot of Deelishis in this, and she has to understand that her man isn't like a lot of other people. So instead of truly wholeheartedly complaining about him, as he said, she don't just complain about that, she complains about a host of other things, you know, that he may do around the house. Is always something that she's complaining about. I think she needs to take a step back and understand that she's not always perfect in this area, and she may not be 100% perfect in sex in the way that he wants it. So she needs to take the time out to like really sit down, assess her relationship, assess her man, and really understand what his needs and stuff are. That's why I think they may actually need a sex therapist, you know, because obviously there's some communication issues that is preventing them from even connecting on that level or whatever. And it could be prison, but I feel like it's more than that. Okay, so 2003 was when he got out. Thanks, Danielle. And he was married. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I feel like he was hunching and bunching for sure. He was out there hunching and bunching. So I really feel like Deelishis needed self-reflect and get that together. What else happened? Just the comedy show, which was cute. It was a cute little comedy show at the end. So that's pretty much all that happened on the episode. It was cute. They weren't really talking about that. Michael Blackson was doing what he was doing. So I'm like, okay, y'all just got a free comedy show. So that's what's up. No one should take relationship advice from Kirk and his Adam's apple. We've seen him cheat way too many times to take advice from him. Embarrassing. He has, and I did think that was funny for Ray J to say, you know, he feels as though Kirk has been through a lot, so he's like a big brother that he can go and get advice from. And I was kind of side-eyeing it, like, are you serious? For real? You can get advice from him? But then I guess when y'all are almost the same person, you just haven't had an outside child on Prinky, then maybe he can guide you on something, maybe a little bit, not a whole lot, because Kirk baby ain't that old. This just happened a few years ago, so he grown as hell, old as hell, still out here doing the same tricks and stuff. So yeah, those are my thoughts on that. Like, you sure you want to get that advice from him in particular? Oh, okay. Let me see when my next one is up. Okay. Okay, so I think that was gonna be at 7. I'm probably gonna move this review up though, so that I can go ahead and get it out the way for Married to Medicine. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this live, you guys. And I'm about to click off and just pretty much hop back on and go knock out this Married to Medicine review. Okay, so if you guys want to join me, catch me over there. If not, thank you guys so much for joining me on this particular live. And it's just 26, a few of y'all. I appreciate y'all. Please don't forget to like the video on your way out. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.